The first time Jocelyn met Darius, he was reading James Baldwin on the 7 train. She noticed his hands first, long fingers tracing the lines of Giovanni's room, nails clean, but uneven, like he bit them when nervous. Then the scar, a thin white crescent above his left eyebrow. When he glanced up and caught her staring, she expected annoyance. Instead, he smiled. "You like Baldwin?" he asked. "I like men who read," she shot back. That was 6 months ago. Now, curled against his chest in his bed. Sty apartment. Jocelyn traced the scar absently. "How'd you get this again?" Darius stiffened just for a second before chuckling. "Basketball accident. 10th grade. Alive." She knew it. The cut was too precise, too surgical, but she let it go. Everyone had ghosts. The little things over time. She catalogued his quirks, the locked drawer in his nightstand tools, he said. The way he showered after sex every time, like he was washing off more than sweat. The news alerts on his phone. Missy, NG Queenswoman, 24, last seen at bar. "You're into true crime now?" she teased once, nodding at his screen. Darius kissed her temple. "Just want to keep my girls safe." The 4th date, they went to a jazz club in Harlem. Halfway through his second whiskey, Darius squeezed her thigh under the table. "You're different, Jocelyn. Oh, you don't ask questions." Later, against the alley wall behind the club, he bit her neck hard enough to bruise. "I love you," he panted. Jocelyn should have run. Then, she didn't. Jocelyn woke up to an empty bed. The sheets on Darius's side were cold. She checked her phone. 3:17 a.m. The apartment was silent except for the refrigerator humming. Then she heard his voice from the living room. "Not yet. She's different." His tone made her skin prickle. Clinical, detached, not the warm, playful voice he used with her. "I said I'll handle it." A click as he hung up. Jocelyn closed her eyes just as the bedroom door creaked open. Darius stood there, back, lit by the hallway light. She pretended to be asleep, breathing slow and even. The mattress dipped as he climbed in beside her. He smelled like cold air and something faintly metallic. "Babe," she mumbled, feigning drowsiness. Darius froze for half a second before his hand settled on her hip. "Go back to sleep." "Where'd you go?" "Work call. Emergency shoot." Darius was a freelance photographer. He didn't do emergency shoots. When his breathing evened out into sleep, Jocelyn stood his face in the dim light. The scar above his eyebrow looked silver in the moonlight. She thought about the way he'd flinch whenever someone touched his ribs on the left side. The way he'd disappear for hours without explanation. The next morning, while Darius showered, Jocelyn ran her fingers along the underside of his nightstand until she felt a small key taped beneath the drawer. Her hand shook as she fitted it into the lock. Inside lay a switchblade so clean it gleamed, a burner pH, and a Polaroid of a smiling brunette with a date written on the back. 10.13.2023. Jocelyn's blood turned to ice. That was the day Amanda Reyes disappeared from a Bronx bar. The shower cut off. Jocelyn barely had time to close the drawer before Darius emerged, towel around his waist, water droplets clinging to his collarbone. "Pancakes today?" he asked, smiling like nothing was wrong. "Sure," she said, forcing her voice steady. As she poured batter into the pan, Darius wrapped his arms around her from behind, nuzzling her neck. His lips were warm against her skin, the same lips that might have kissed Amanda Reyes before she vanished. "I love you," he murmured. Jocelyn flipped the pancakes, watching the bubbles form and pop. "I love you too." When Darius left to get syrup from the bodega, she made it to the sink just before vomiting. Jocelyn waited exactly 17 minutes after Darius left for his photo shoot before moving. She counted each second, listening to the fatty NG sound of his motorcycle down the street until there was only silence. The apartment smelled like his aftershave and the bacon they'd eaten for breakfast. Normal, domestic, a complete lie. She started in the bedroom, running her fingers along the underside of dresser drawers, checking between mattress and box spring. Nothing. The bathroom yielded only ordinary toiletries, though she noted the industrial-strength bleach under the sink. The living room was meticulously clean, too clean for AM, and who claimed to work freelance hours. Then she saw it. The hallway closet door had a new lock installed since last week. Bronze instead of silver. Jocelyn pressed her ear against the wood and heard the faint but unmistakable hum of electronics. Her mouth went dry. The key from the nightstand fit with a soft click. Inside, the space had been transformed into something between an office and a shrine. 3 of the walls were covered with overlapping newspaper clippings about the missing women. Amanda Reyes, Tasha Johnson, Maria Gutierrez, Leoncho. Red yarn connected their photos to locations around the city. A folding table held a laptop playing a loop of grainy security footage. Jocelyn recognized O'Malley's Tavern from their third date. The timestamp read 10/13/2023 2:47 a.m. A figure moved through the parking lot, dragging something heavy toward a black SUV. Even through the pixelated footage, she recognized Darius's walk, the way he tilted his head to the right when center. Hidden. Next to the laptop sat a row of Ziploc bags, each carefully labeled with initials in black marker. Inside, strands of hair brown, black, blonde, and what looked like fabric swatches. Jocelyn's hands trembled as she picked up one containing a silver hoop earring. She'd seen Maria Gutierrez wearing identical ones in her missing person photo. Her gaze fell on a small wooden box. Inside lay 4 driver's licenses arranged in a perfect row. The women smiled up at her, frozen in their DMV. Beneath them, something glinted, a red hair tie exactly like the one she'd lost at O'Malley's that night. The realization hit like a physical blow. She'd been a target before they'd even met. Their entire relationship was just him playing with his food. A floorboard creaked. Jocelyn spun around to see Darius leaning against the doorframe, holding 2 coffee cups. His expression was calm, almost amused. Find anything interesting? The cups slipped from his hands, hitting the carpet. With dull thuds, dark liquid spread across the beige fibers like blood. Darius didn't raise his voice. That was the most terrifying part. You should have waited for me to show you, he said, stepping over the spilled coffee like it was nothing. His work boots left faint prints on the carpet as he moved toward her. I was going to tell you eventually. Jocelyn's back pressed against the closet wall. The driver's licenses dug into her palm. She hadn't realized she'd grabbed them. Tell me why. Her voice sounded foreign to her own ears. Darius smiled, the same boyish grin that had made her fall for him. That I collect things. He gestured to the wall of clippings. These women, they were special. Like you. The Polaroids. The hair samples. The way he said were. Jocelyn's stomach heaved. She focused on breathing through her nose, the way her therapist had taught her during panic attacks. Don't faint. Don't scream. Darius picked up Maria Gutierrez's license from where it had fallen. She had your laugh, he said softly. Not the sound, but the way your nose scrunches. His fingers traced the plastic. I tried to preserve it, but some things. He shook his head. You can't cage lightning. A metallic taste filled Jocelyn's mouth. She'd bitten her cheek. Why show me now? Because you're different. Darius cupped her face. His palms smelled like coffee and gun oil. You saw the monster and didn't run. That means you're ready. For what? The question net her tongue, but she already knew. The collection wasn't complete. There were 4 licenses on the wall. 4 bags of hair. Jocelyn forced herself to smile, her lips stretching like drying glue. You're right, she whispered, pressing her palm against Darius's chest. His heartbeat thudded steady beneath her fingers. I'm not like them. She saw the exact moment he believed her. His pupils dilated, black swallowing hazel. His breath hitched. Darius buried his face in her neck, inhaling deeply. What? I knew you'd understand. Jocelyn stroked his hair, her fingers brushing the scar above his eyebrow. Show me everything. The rules of engagement never refuse. His touch, his hands on her waist, his lips on her pulse point, each caress a test. Ask about the women, but not too much. What made Tasha special? Not where did you bury her? Never check her phone in front of him. He'd installed tracking software weeks ago. The 5th girl. Jocelyn found the new Polaroid taped to the fridge. EA grocery list. Asterisk Kimberly M. 10/28/2023 asterisk fresh. Recent. While she'd been playing the devoted girlfriend, Darius had been hunting. The photo showed a blonde in a lavender sundress, laughing at some joke. Jocelyn recognized the brick wall behind her, the beer garden where she and Darius had their first date. Her coffee cup slipped from numb fingers. Darius caught it before it hit the floor. Careful, baby. He pressed the warm mug back into her hands. You don't want to make a mess. The first move that night, Jocelyn waited until Darius fell asleep, always on his back, hands folded over his stomach like a corpse before sliding out of bed. The knife block in the kitchen was empty. Her pulse stuttered. She checked the drawers. No scissors, no skewers, not even a fucking pizza cutter. The bathroom mirror showed her reflection, wide-eyed, trembling. A mouse in a snake's den. Then she saw the straight razor on Darius's sink. Jocelyn pawned it just as the bedroom door creaked. Open. Can't sleep. Darius leaned against the doorframe, silhouetted by the hall light. She hid the razor behind her thigh. Just thirsty. He smiled. Me too. The straight razor burned a line against Jocelyn's thigh as she followed Darius back to bed. He moved like liquid shadow, his bare feet silent on the hardwood. Come here, he murmured, patting the mattress. Jocelyn climbed in, keeping her right leg slightly raised to hide the weapon. Darius pulled her close, his breath warm again. Since her collarbone, she could feel the barcode tattoo on his shoulder blade, some past life as inventory, just like her. You're shaking, he noted. Cold, she lied. Darius reached for the blanket. That's when she moved. The razor flashed silver in the moonlight. Jocelyn slashed upward, aiming for his throat. Darius caught her wrist an inch from his carotid. His grip crushed bone. Oh, Jocelyn, he sighed, disappointed. I thought you were smarter than this. The fight was ugly. He knew him in the groin. He backhanded her across the face. She raked the razor down his chest, drawing a line of crimson beads. He slammed her head against the nightstand. Stars exploded behind her eyes. Somehow, she broke free. Jocelyn stumbled into the hallway just as the apartment door burst open. A blonde in a lavender sundress stood frozen in the doorway, keys dangling from one hand. Kimberly, alive! Darius's laugh echoed from the bedroom. Now it's a party! Kimberly's pink-glossed lips parted in shock as she took in the scene. Jocelyn bleeding from her temple, the razor still clutched in her shaking hand. Darius shirtless and smiling with blood trickling down his chest. You said I was the only one, Kimberly whispered. Darius spread his arms. I say a lot of things. Jocelyn's mind raced. The Polaroids, the hair samples, the way he'd known exactly when she'd search his closet. This wasn't just a collection, it was a harem, and they'd all been playing their parts perfectly. Burley's manicured hand flew to her mouth. Oh my god, you're the one from the photos he showed me. Jocelyn's blood ran cold. What photos? The ones he took while you slept. Kimberly's blue eyes welled with tears. He said you were his crazy ex, that you were dangerous. Darius chuckled, wiping blood from his chest and examining it on his fingers. See how easy it is. Give them just enough truth to make the lies taste sweet. The razor felt suddenly heavy in Jocelyn's hand. She could see it now, the pattern. How he'd carefully isolated each woman, made them feel chosen, then turned them against each other. A sick game of predator and prey where everyone lost except him. Kimberly reached into her designer purse. Jocelyn tensed, expecting a weapon. Instead, the blonde pulled out a small velvet box. I was supposed to give this to you, Kimberly said, her voice breaking. He said it was a test of trust. Jocelyn didn't need to open it to know what was inside. A lock of dark. Darius clapped slowly. And now we arrive at the interesting part. He stepped toward Kimberly. Will you help her? Or will you do what I trained you to do? Kimberly's gaze flicked between them. For one terrible second, Jocelyn saw the calculation in her eyes, the survival instinct Darius had cultivated. Then something shifted. The blonde swung her purse at Darius's head with surprising force. But she screamed at Jocelyn. But Jocelyn was already moving not toward the door, but at Darius. The razor flashed. This time, she didn't miss. The razor sliced through Darius's cheek with a wet, ripping sound. Blood sprayed across the white walls in an arc of crimson droplets, painting abstract patterns like some grotesque modern art. For one frozen second, no one moved. Then Darius touched his face, his fingers coming away black with blood in a dim light. When he laughed, the wound gaped like a second mouth. Oh, Jocelyn, he gurgled, blood bubbling between his teeth. Oh, you've made it interesting. Kimberly screamed a raw, primal sound and swung her purse again. This time Darius caught it midair and yanked hard, sending her crashing into the wall. Framed photos shattered on impact. Jocelyn lunged with the razor again, aiming for his eyes, but Darius moved with terrifying speed. His fist connected with her solar plexus, knocking the air from her lungs. She collapsed to her knees, gasping, the razor skittering across the hardwood. That's my girl, Darius crooned, kneeling beside her. Blood dripped onto her shirt. Always fighting. That's why you lasted longer than the others. Kimberly moaned from where she'd fallen, clutching her ribs. Darius barely glanced at her. All his focus was on Jocelyn now, his bloody hands cradling her face with grotesque tenderness. Then the apartment door burst open again. A petite Asian woman stood in the doorway, baseball bat raised. Lion Cho, the fourth victim from the Polaroids, very much alive, her eyes blazzy. NG with fury. Hey asshole, she spat. Miss me? The bat connected with the back of Darius's skull with a sickening crack. The sound of the bat connecting with Darius's skull echoed through the apartment like a gunshot. He dropped to his knees, blood streaming down his neck in thick rivulets. But to Jocelyn's horror, he didn't go down. Lion, he rasped, turning his head at an unnatural angle to look at her. I wondered when you'd join us. The Asian woman's hands trembled on the bat. Our knuckles white. Shut up. Just shut the hell up. Kimberly crawled to Jocelyn's side, her breath coming in ragged gasps. He never actually killed any of us, she whispered. The news reports the missing person's all fake. He's been keeping us prisoner in different apartments across the city. The revelation hit Jocelyn like a physical blow. The hair samples, the Polaroids, the driver's licenses, all part of some elaborate mind game. Darius chuckled wetly, spitting blood onto the floor. And here I thought you girls would never figure it out. He wiped his mouth with the back of his hand. Though I must say, this is much more fun than I anticipated. Lion raised the bat again. You sick fuck. You made me think I'd killed someone. That I was a murderer. Jocelyn's mind reeled. That explained the trophies. They weren't from victims. They were from his living prisoners. A collection of broken women, each believing they were complicit in some horrific crime. Darius staggered to his feet, his movements jerky but determined. Now, Lion. You did enjoy parts of our time together, didn't you? The bat came down again, but this time Darius caught it mid-swing. With a vicious twist, he wrenched it from her grasp and backhanded her across the face. Lion crumpled. Jocelyn saw her chance. While Darius was distracted, she lunged for the fallen razor, but he was faster. A strong hand closed around her throat, lifting her off the ground. Her vision swam as his fingers tightened. You were always my favorite, Darius whispered, his split cheek making the words slur. Such fire, such fight. His grip tightened. Pity it ends like this. Then the gunshot rang out. The sound of the gunshot left Jocelyn's ears ringing. Darius's grip slackened as a dark red bloom spread across his chest. He looked down at the wound with something like amusement before collapsing to his knees. Maria Gutierrez stood in the doorway, her hands shaking around the pistol. The same woman whose driver's license had been in Darius's collection. Her once vibrant curls were now chopped short, her eyes hollow from months of captivity. You forgot about me, didn't you? She said, her voice steady despite the tears streaming down her face. Darius coughed blood, his lips twisting into a grotesque smile. Never, my love. His body swayed, then toppled sideways onto the floor. Silence! Then chaos erupted. Kimberly scrambled for her phone to call 911. Lion crawled to Darius's body, pressing 2 fingers to his neck before recoiling. He's gone. Jocelyn couldn't move. She stared at the pooling blood creeping toward her bare feet. This man had controlled her every moment for months, had invaded her dreams, had made her doubt her own sanity, and now he was just gone. Maria dropped the gun with a clatter. He kept us all in different apartments, she whispered. Made us think we helped him kill the others, that we were accomplices. She looked at Jocelyn, and with haunted eyes. I believed him for so long. Sirens wailed in the distance. Lion grabbed Jocelyn's shoulders. Listen to me. When the police come, we say it was self-defense. Because it was. Jocelyn nodded numbly. The razor still lay near her feet, its blade dulled with blood. She thought of all the women who weren't in this room, the ones who might still be locked away somewhere, believing Darius's lies. As the first police cruiser screeched to a stop outside, Jocelyn made a silent plea. Promise she would find them. Every last one.